Yes! Oh, I hope you're thirsty, everyone. Welcome to the Business of Booze, right here on Cheddar Business. I'm Baker Machado.
Hello, and I'm Kristen Scholler. Welcome to the Business of Booze, Baker.
So
I gotta
thirsty.
pop open my Truly.
Yes.
Okay, today's National Vodka Day, so we're gonna celebrate exploring the latest trends in the spirits industry, including canned wine and spiked seltzer.
Yes, indeed.
You gonna help me out here? U.S. consumers are looking for healthier options, resulting in legacy liquor companies putting an emphasis on hard seltzer and stealing market share from beer sales in the process. And just to name a few here, Anheuser-Busch InBev, Boston Beer Company, Molson Coors, Diageo, and most recently Constellation Brands, all capitalizing on the trend. So on Thursday, Constellation posting a $525 million second quarter loss, mainly due to its investment in the Canadian marijuana grower Canopy Growth. But the company did announce it would launch a Corona branded spiked seltzer.
Yeah, guys, according to Nielsen, sales of alcoholic seltzer have now totaled $295 million in the year. That's ending on July the 14th. That's really impressive because that's up from $106 million just the previous year and only $11 million just 2 years ago. An analysis by UBS predicts the beverage category, Kristen, could be worth $2.5 billion just by 2021.
I believe it. So you might want to pour a glass, right? Join us for this next half hour, raising our glasses.
Or cans.
Or cans, whatever you want to say, to the liquor industry.
All right, guys, so let's get this started. Boston Beer Company shares are up 45% so far this year. And the Sam Adams Brewer says a lot of credit belongs to the success of the hard seltzer brand Truly. So joining us now is Dave Burwick, President and CEO of the Boston Beer Company. Dave, great to have you here with us. It seems like every company now, as Kristen mentions, has their own hard seltzer brand at this point. So how do you guys stand out of the crowd right now?
Well, I mean, I think there's a number, by the way, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Happy to be here. Happy Friday to you. I think there's a number of ways to do it. The first and foremost, you kind of forget about it. It's a beverage business. It's got to taste good. So taste is critical. And to create a hard seltzer, it's not that easy to create a really clear alcohol base that you don't taste very well. So taste is first and foremost. I'd say also building a brand is super important, and that's just beginning right now. Brand awareness is very low in the category. Very few households, only about 4 or 5% have even purchased a hard seltzer so far. So building the brand is critical. And the last thing I'd say is innovation, continuing to provide new flavors, sort of new ways to experience hard seltzer is really important. And I think what we're seeing in this category is that people really like variety.
Definitely variety. I'm drinking a pomegranate. Baker, what do you have?
Passion fruit.
Passion fruit. We are fans, Dave. We will say that. Also inking a recent partnership with the NHL, among some other partners here. How important is getting your product, right, that prime time spot in a lot of these, whether it's professional sports or other avenues?
Yeah, it's really important. Again, we talked about brand building. Up till now, it's been mostly trying to make as good product as you can make, get it to the market through distribution. But now, when it comes to brand building, we need to create awareness. I think for this brand in particular, for Truly, we want to appeal more to men as well. And we also want to put our brand in front of people outside the normal like summer season. This is a category where people are drinking it all year long, well beyond the summer months. And the NHL, actually the timing for the NHL is perfect. It begins actually right now, this week. It goes till May. That's a really good time for us as well.
Dave, Guggenheim recently raised their price target on you guys to about $462, and they gave you guys a buy rating mainly because of the success of Truly in particular, because of also the popularity of your guys' biggest rival, that being White Claw. So I'm curious, if your biggest rival is doing well, does that actually do well for you guys in concert to that?
Well, I think in the case of, it's a new category, so to the extent that there are multiple players in the category trying to develop it and explain to consumers what is hard seltzer and when do you consume it, it's actually, in a way, it's helpful because we want more people to turn their heads in our direction, and if we were doing it all by ourselves, it wouldn't be quite as easy. So, there's as you mentioned earlier, this is a huge category. It's really disruptive. It's the biggest disruption in the beer business since light beer was introduced in the 70s, but still people still need to understand what is it about, when do I drink it, what's it for. Having other players out there who are building the market with you is actually a good thing.
That's right. So how do you convince buyers, Dave, and consumers that they should be drinking this during the holiday season, right, when the weather gets a lot colder than its popularity in the summer?
Well, because I think fundamentally the things that are really driving the category isn't, I mean, refreshment, a good summer drink on the boat, at the beach, whatever. That's true, but essentially it's good to consume all year round. People are drinking it because of health and wellness. Most of these brands have 100 calories or fewer. Maybe 1 gram of sugar or even fewer than that. So I think there's a health and wellness trend, there's a variety trend. People want to try different types of things, as we just talked about before. So those are fundamental trends that transcend seasons and should transcend the entire year.
Dave, you guys at Boston Beer Company have a lot of brands that are under your umbrella. In addition to Truly, you've got Sam Adams, you've got Twisted Tea, you've got Angry Orchard hard cider as well. But with the success of Seltzer, does that kind of change the way you look at your brands for the future in terms of what things you're going to make?
I tell you, we want to go where the consumer's going. So we have all those brands you mentioned. We also acquired Dogfish Head beer. Brewing company earlier this year. They have an amazing lineup of IPAs and sour beers. So for us, right now, we want to have as broad a portfolio as we can have that's as relevant as possible to consumers. And sometimes, for example, last year, cider was huge. Like with the launch of Rosé Cider, that was a big growth driver for us last year with Angry Orchard. This year, not so much. This year, it's hard seltzer and Truly. We think that will probably be true for next year. But it doesn't even matter that much because we feel like as long as we're positioned with the right portfolio, as the trends dictate it, we're going to lean in on whatever brand seems to make the most sense at the time.
So, Dave, it sounds like that you think hard seltzer truly is here to stay, right? And it's going to continue to get increased spend from your parent company going forward.
Oh, there's no question about it. I think, again, look at the category. It was nothing, literally nothing in 2016. The last 2 years, it's tripled in size, tripled. Next year, we think it will double. And again, it's riding on not just a fad, but real trends. There's a whole new generation of drinkers, millennial drinkers, who, like every generation across all categories, are sort of defining the types of brands and the types of experiences they want. So you got a large generation, 90 million or so, and you've got these trends around health and wellness. Something that's drinkable, less bloating, more variety. We think that's going to continue to drive this category for many years.
Well, we certainly hope so, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us. Dave Burwick, he is the president and CEO of Boston Beer Company. Great to have you here, Dave. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank
All right,
you.
well, coming up on the business of booze, you cannot have a cocktail without mixers. But first, Baker.
Cheers to that, honey.
Cheers
Yes.
to us. Cheers to the business of booze, we should say.